Well, my BookTube uncle, also known as John Minton, also known as Talking Story, you should go subscribe to him, made a video the other day talking about books that should be movies. And books and comics, I should say, because he's a comic book fan, like yours truly. And I was like, dang it, John. Dang it, John, you rascal. I have to make a response video now. Like, you forced my hand. I had other videos I was thinking about doing. I had other things I wanted to do. But you've given me no choice, John. So, hope you're ashamed of yourself. And I hope you also enjoy this, because I have a couple of books of my own, and comics as well of my own, that I would like to talk about, that I think could make really fun movies, or shows, or animated shows. I decided to kind of broaden the horizon a little bit, because I don't know if all of these all of these books I'll be talking about will really mesh well with live action. Even though they could, technology has certainly gone a lot of ways. It's certainly gone a long ways over the years. So, yeah, I'll be talking about books that I think could be made into great films, or TV shows, or animated shows. Because, like I said, not really too much to say else. So I guess we should get into it before too long. So yeah, I got some books here. Got some comics. Let's talk about it. So, first book I have here that I'd like to pull out is one that John will definitely be familiar with, and definitely some will be familiar with if you know the author, or if you have seen John's video, which was a great video he did with his wife, and that is City of Thieves by David Benioff. Now, before you guys snicker at me, this was a fantastic book. I read it last December, because this seems, I don't know, it just seems like a winter type of book for me, and it definitely is, because this book takes place in one of the darkest periods of World War II's history, one of the most infamously brutal parts of the war, which was the Eastern Front. But somehow, Benioff manages to create a really dark story while also being really light and having a lot of humor in it. Also kind of reminded me of a Michael Chabon novel. I'm kind of shocked he didn't like blurb this book or anything. This seems like a story he would mesh well with. But what would this be like if this were adapted? This could easily be like a movie. If this could easily be like a 1 hour 45-minute movie, 90-minute movie, even if you really want to go get to the point. This is a very crystal clear, very straightforward story. I think you could easily make a great film out of this. I mean, get Benioff back on it, because he's a screenwriter, and also maybe get some of the guys from the old Game of Thrones crew. Get like one of the old directors or something to do City of Thieves. It would be great. I think a lot of people would really enjoy it if you do it correctly. You really have to keep that tone in mind, which is why I think David Benioff should do the adaptation, rather screenplay anyway, because I think he would get it very well. And despite the fact that he bungled the Game of Thrones ending rather badly, it's not entirely his fault. He did have D.B. Weiss with him, but it was mostly him and D.B. Weiss. But yeah, he's a good writer though, and this book is fantastic, and I think this would make a great film. So yeah, I'll just put this down now before I go too long. Razorblade Tears is my next one, by S.A. Cosby. I think any of his books could be really good films if you really decided to adapt any of them. But Razorblade Tears is probably my favorite of his work. This is basically like the Hap and Leonard novel that never got written. Though it's a lot different from Hap and Leonard. I mean, it is about, a black guy and a white guy, and they team up and kick ass and take names. But it's also a very dark story about prejudice and regret and loss. This is kind of like if Hap and Leonard went into like the 180 dramatic territory. Now, don't get me wrong, this does have a good manner of humor in it, and this book definitely feels like a tribute to Joe Lansdale, particularly with the, kind of Hap and Leonard dynamic that our main characters get into. Who would make this? I think this could easily be made. This is another one I think could be easily made into like a 2-hour film, if you do it right. And it's a very succinct story. I would definitely get someone maybe like Jeremy Saulnier. If you don't know who that is, he did Blue Ruin, which is a very underrated revenge thriller, and Green Room. He's actually got a film that's going to be coming out soon, which is basically like First Blood, except it's not as 80s as First Blood is. But I think Razorblade Tears would make a really good movie. Or even Jim Mickle, who did the Hap and Leonard TV show, which was fantastic, deeply underrated show. But he's doing Sweet Tooth right now. But I would love to see Jim Mickle do Razorblade Tears, give like a little nod to the people who miss Hap and Leonard, because this is definitely in that Hap and Leonard style. Doesn't has that kind of irreverent humor, really dark themes, great storytelling, just some great stuff. Do Razorblade Tears as a movie. I think Razorblade Tears as a film would be really good. I would really like seeing it, and I know some other people probably would like that too. But any of his movies would do. But Razorblade Tears is my favorite of his so far. So yeah, I'll just put this down. Next one is actually a series, but I only have the first book down here, and that is the Kinsey and Gennaro series by Dennis Lehane. I know I've talked about Dennis Lehane a lot. Now I bet a lot of you are wondering, Britain, didn't they already make a movie from this series? Yes, they did. They got Ben Affleck to do Gone Baby Gone, which is actually a pretty good adaptation of the novel. It's pretty good. I really liked it a lot. I think Ben Affleck is a very underappreciated director. He's done such gems like Gone Baby Gone and The Town, which is probably my favorite of his films. He also did Live by Night, which is another Dennis Lehane adaptation. I haven't seen it, though, so I don't know how that would go. But, I really liked Casey Affleck and Michelle Monaghan in the role. And as a matter of fact, I imagined them as I was reading the series because, the movie was so striking. But I think this book could easily be a 6-season, very succinct television series. Maybe even get Lehane involved because he has done work in Hollywood before. I would definitely love to see Kinsey and Gennaro get a proper adaptation from the beginning, which is A Drink Before the War, all the way to the end, which is Moonlight Mile. I would love to see just a 6-season, really great adaptation from writers who would know what they're doing. Now, who would make it? I don't know. There are probably a couple picks I could choose from, but I don't really know. I don't have anyone specifically who could do it. But I would really love to see a proper Kinsey and Gennaro adaptation on television. I think that would be a lot of fun. Make it like an HBO drama. It'll be great. People will like it. It's gritty, but it's also got a lot of humor and heart in it. Well, maybe not heart. It's really depressing at times. But it does have a sense of humor. There is a lot of great emotion in this series. I would love to see particularly Darkness Take My Hand adapted, because my god, that's a fantastic book. S.A. Cosby, who I mentioned earlier, described it rather succinctly as a well-written descent into hell, which is probably the best way I could ever describe that book, or anyone could describe that book. Maybe David Fincher or something, but wait till next pick to get to the real David Fincher talk. But yes, Kinsey and Gennaro, would love to see an adaptation of that series. Next one I got here is My Dark Vanessa. I read this year. Fantastic book. This would definitely be great. I think you could get away with a movie adaptation, but I would prefer seeing this as like a mini series. And this one I would definitely get David Fincher on, because I think he would just eat this one up. It's very dark, very sad. Not for the faint of heart. If you're a fan of Lolita, as I am, you'll probably get a kick, or you'll probably enjoy this, or I don't know if that's the right word, but you'll probably appreciate it. That's probably the right word for it. Get David Fincher, maybe some of the people from Mindhunter on there. It's not going to be too serial killery, but it's going to be talking about a different kind of monster. But My Dark Vanessa, I think, would be a fantastic book to adapt, and I would really love to see David Fincher and crew do it from Mindhunter, because Mindhunter is a fantastic show, and I think that style would do very well with this book here. Though they might be making a movie out of it. I have no idea. So, yeah, there you go. Next book I have is my obligatory McCarthy mention, and that is actually Suttree by Cormac McCarthy. I read this last year. Really got a kick out of it. This is a really great book, and I think, to echo something that David Foster Wallace once said, I think this could make a really fun movie, or at least a miniseries at best. There's a lot of really strange characters, wacky situations. I think people would get a kick out of watching this. It's probably his most lighthearted novel. It's probably his funniest. It's also probably his most, aside from All the Pretty Horses, probably his most romantic novel. Definitely would love to see a movie or miniseries from this. And who would I get? Well, that's pretty easy. I would probably get the Coen brothers to do it. They have already done a phenomenal They've already done a phenomenal McCarthy adaptation with No Country for Old Men, which is my favorite film from there. But I think they would really go nuts with Suttree. There's a lot of strange characters, a lot of funny sequences. I think the Coen brothers would eat it up. And if the Coen brothers couldn't do it, I would probably get one of John's favorite playwrights. He's also one of my favorite directors working today, Martin McDonagh, who's kind of the Irish Coen brothers in a lot of ways. You know, he's done movies like In Bruges, he's done Seven Psychopaths, Three Billboards, Outside of Ebbings, Missouri, which is a fantastic film. He also recently did I can't think of the name at the moment. It's a very Irish movie, though, from what I remember. But I think he would also do a very good Suttree adaptation. He seems to have that really dark sensibility about him. But if it wasn't him, I would love to see the Coen brothers do it, because I think the Coen brothers would do a very, very good job at it. And, well, I love the Coen brothers, so there you go. So I'll just put this down. Next book I have here is one I often talk about, and one that I think everyone should go read, and that is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. When I read this book, I thought, man, this would make an amazing film or miniseries. Probably miniseries, because in all honesty, this book is, as you can tell, kind of a chunker. Probably a miniseries would do it justice. I don't know. This is another one I don't know who would do it. I would say the Coen brothers, but, well, I already mentioned the Coen brothers in the Suttree department, and I don't know if they could do it. I do know they tried to do an adaptation of the Yiddish Policemen's Union, which unfortunately I haven't read, so Raph, if you watch this, I'm sorry. I will get to it someday. But, yeah, Amazing Adventure of Cavalier and Clay I would really love to see, preferably as a miniseries. I think it would work a lot better as a miniseries. But I think that this book is absolutely magnificent. There's a lot of heart in this book, a lot of tragedy. I really love how Chabon combines tragedy and whimsy in this book. And it's also just about the joy of creation. I love comic books. I've loved comic books all my life. And this book is all about comics. So, I mean, and though even if you don't like comics, you can appreciate this book about two guys just trying to make it in a world that, doesn't really understand them. Maybe get a Jewish director, or, again, the Coens. The Coens are Jewish, hilariously enough. But I don't know I don't know if they read comics or if they would understand it. But also, I don't know if they would, I do think they could capture the tone. I will say I do think they capture the tone. But I don't know if they would get the subject matter as well as Michael Chabon will. Maybe Kevin Smith, that might be, that's not very serious. Don't take that seriously. But I would love somebody to do The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. I think this would be a fantastic miniseries if it were done right. I know they have tried. They have certainly tried. I don't know when they would do it, but I would love to see them do The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay at some point, because I really love that. I really love this book a lot, so yeah, I'll put that down. Next book is another one I just can't shut up about for the life of me, and I kind of debated with myself on if this even could be adapted, but that is Perdido Street Station, or not even Perdido Street Station, the Baz Lag series by China Mieville. This is one of those that probably should be animated, because I have no clue how anyone would be crazy enough to put this in their live action, unless maybe you're Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam might be able to do it, or Yorgos Lanthimos. I did see clips from, what's that movie called? Poor Things. Maybe he could do it, but I honestly don't think you could do this series in live action. I don't think it's possible. So, who would I like to adapt this? Definitely should be animated if anyone makes it, and make it like 3 miniseries, because, they're not really connected, aside from aside from very brief mentions, they are connected. Like, it's the same world, but they're different stories. So I would definitely make 3 different miniseries of this, The Scar, or even the Iron Council, which I don't know how they would do Iron Council. Iron Council is insane. But I would definitely get an animated series. I would really love to see the people from Arcane do it. And I guess you could argue they're already kind of doing it with Arcane, because Arcane is very much a steampunky setting. Well, it's based on a video game, but it's very steampunky. And I've heard people recommend Perdido Street Station as a sort of, to get something similar to Arcane, which I would agree. I mean, I think it's a fantastic book, and I don't really shut up about it. That's good. But yes, I would love to see like an animated adaptation with the people who did Arcane. I think they would do a really good job bringing China Mieville's world to life. Now, I don't know how they would do it, or if they even would want to do it, because they're already kind of doing a steampunk weird TV show that is Arcane. But if they decided to do another steampunk project, definitely pick up Perdido Street Station. I would love to see them do Bozlag as a trilogy of miniseries. I think that would be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll put that down, because I won't talk too much about Perdido Street Station, because I've talked a lot about it. So there we go. Next one is probably one that won't surprise any of you, and you might get some cocked eyebrows, because they're technically already kind of making an adaptation, but that would be The First Law. I remember when I was reading this, I was like, man, this would make a really great TV show. Just give 3 banger seasons of television, put it on like HBO or something, it'd be like the next Game of Thrones. People will go nuts for it. Get like Joe Abercrombie in on it. Maybe Neil Marshall. I don't know who would make it. Neil Marshall, I think, could make direct some great episodes, because he directed a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones, and he directed some great episodes of Game of Thrones. I think he would do very well. He has that very pulpy John Carpenter style to him. But I really think that the First Law trilogy would make a phenomenal TV show. Would love to see get the game. I would love to see it get the Game of Thrones treatment, where it's like they throw all the money at it. It's this big thing, and it has an ending. It has an ending. It might alienate some people, but it does have an ending, and the ending is a very good ending. And I know they're making a movie of Best Served Cold. I don't know why it's Best Served Cold out of anything, but I think you could easily make a great TV show out of The Blade itself. Not The Blade itself. First Law, though. You could make The Blade itself into a season. I really honestly think you could do it. I would love to see it, and I would definitely love seeing it be done properly, because, it's not always been done properly, so, hopefully we don't get a Game of Thrones situation. Now on the comics, yes, the first comic I will have on here for number 9 will be Blankets. This is one that a lot of people may have heard of. I avoided this for a long time, just because, reasons. And then I finally read it, and I was just really deeply touched by it. I thought it was one of the best stories I've ever read in a comic. Movie or miniseries, I could definitely get away with both. I would love to see the woman who did The Edge of 17 maybe could do it. Her name's Kelly Freeman Craig. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I highly doubt you'll watch this, though. I would, if I could have anyone make Blankets, it would probably be her, or like Steven Chbosky, who did Perks of Being a Wallflower, wrote the book and directed the movie, which is insane. I would definitely have them do it, because in those movies, they've shown a deep understanding of how kids work, and they understand what it means to be younger and have all these weird questions about life and relationships and all that. I would love to see an adaptation of Blankets at some point. Maybe they won't do it, because it is a very long comic, but maybe a miniseries would do better, because it is pretty long at points, but just give it like 6 episodes. It'll be fine. But yeah, Blankets, fantastic. I would love to see a TV show or movie out of it. Maybe they could compress some of the stuff down and make it into a movie. Who knows? Last one I have here, and this is one that might surprise none of you, but Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Now, I know that Brian K. Vaughan said He doesn't want this to be adapted. He wants this to just be a comic, and I totally understand that. I mean, a lot of the concepts in this book are so bonkers, so insane, so absolutely ridiculous. I honestly have no idea how they would adapt it. How would I adapt it? Probably would animate it, because I don't know if live action could really I don't know if live action could really do this story justice without it looking ridiculous. I mean, we've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender be done, and we've seen other animated shows be made into live action shows like Cowboy Bebop and Avatar: The Last Airbender, and well, look how well those went. They looked stupid because it's not animated. Because, I don't know, it's a weird thing where it's like animation, you can get away with a lot more. And I think you could get away with a lot more if you were in Saga. I mean, imagine seeing this. Hold on. Imagine just seeing this in live action. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, animate it. Definitely would animate it. Maybe get the Invincible people to do it, because the people who are doing Invincible are doing it incredibly. I don't think Brian K. Vaughan will do it, because, like I said, he has said that he doesn't want this to be adapted into anything. But if I were to adapt it, if I could adapt it, I definitely would let it be animated, because I think that's the best format for it to be adapted. And I would probably get the people who did Invincible to do it, because Invincible is great. I love the Invincible TV show, and it's clear that the people who made it love the comics and want to do it justice. And hopefully they will give that same treatment to Saga, if they ever make it, which is very unlikely, because I don't think Brian K. Vaughan's going to change his mind on that. But I would love to see Saga as a TV show, animated, preferably, because again, if it was in live action, it would just look stupid. I really do think so. There might be people who will disagree with me. That's too bad. That's just what I think. So, yeah. That's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I kind of went on for a little while, but if you guys want to check me out, I am on Twitter. I'm also on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. You can also find me on Discord, Instagram, and Blue Sky, even though I'm barely on Blue Sky. Also, like, subscribe. Click on it. It feels good, as my BookTube uncle, John Minton, likes to say. And until next time, hope you guys enjoyed this. Till next.